Hi.
Hi, ma'am.
Hi. You can call me Nikita.
You can hear me, ma'am?
Yeah. Go ahead, call me Nikita. Don't, just call me Nikita.
Okay, all right. Do you want to wait for 5 minutes or should we begin right away?
Anything's okay. Anything's okay. We could,
Okay,
or we could start. Anything's okay.
okay, let's start then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just adjusting my hand.
So, and good evening, everyone. This is Payal Jadhav from Sustain and Save, and I welcome all of you to the 10th session of Sustain Talks, which is a collaboration series started by Sustain and Save. It is a resource and knowledge-based inspiration which focuses on creating awareness about sustainability, sustainable initiatives, and circular economy. We, as Sustain and Save Changemakers, we wish to promote green products made in India, sustainable initiatives, and inspiring stories from all over the world. We aim to be the change, not the problem. And today we have with us Nikita Deshpande, the co-founder of Ilana Organics and a young budding entrepreneur. Hello, Nikita, and
Hey, thank you for such a lovely introduction.
it is a pleasure to host you today. And for those of you who don't know what the session is about, I'll just quickly brief you about what Ilana Organics is all about. So, Ilana Organics is a blend of natural sources and a system rich in modern ethics. It focuses to bring together the tradition of natural personal care and modern sustainable methods to derive it. Wholesome in their sourcing, testing, creating, and packaging, Ilana Organics follow the motive: if it isn't green, it isn't our way. Am I right, ma'am?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. So,
You can just call me Nikita. I insist. Don't call me ma'am.
Okay.
Call me Nikita.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shall we start with the first round of questions then?
Yes, of course. Go ahead.
So, what inspired you to start this wonderful journey of creating an organic skincare brand?
So I was in college and we were actually going through like a curriculum of how to bring about sustainability in our lives. It was a sustainability curriculum, and we just wanted to, we were given an assignment where we were supposed to look at the ingredient labels of consumer products. So I chose skincare and I wanted to know what exactly went inside the bottles of skincare that we used. And when I looked at the ingredients list, it was a real eye opener for me because I couldn't decipher as to what went inside those bottles from the ingredient list, because more often than not they were so complex, and the chemicals that and the ingredients that went inside those bottles were extremely complex. So it made me think as to what that was like, what's the effect of those ingredients or chemical ingredients was, what the effect was on the environment. And that made me think about, okay, maybe I should talk to people about changing or bringing a shift in their lifestyles. But when I started having that conversation with people, soon enough I understood that just having a coffee table or a dinner table conversation with somebody doesn't cut it. So I needed like a bigger card to convince people, and on those lines is what Ilana Organics started. So I never set out thinking, hey, okay, I want to sell skincare tomorrow. But the bigger vision behind Ilana Organics was always about talking about sustainability, having that bigger conversation, making people aware as to, asking them as to how important it is to read your ingredients lists. And it was about the bigger umbrella, I would say. So that is how it began. So skincare was just like I would say it was a medium to voice my feelings. But the bigger idea was to talk about sustainability and how to bring in the shift in people's lifestyles.
Wow, that's indeed a passionate step, I must say, towards creating.
I mean, we're nothing if we are not passionate about what we do. For the last 2 years, like Ilana wouldn't have reached anywhere if it wasn't for founder's passion for it. Like me and the other co-founder, we're really passionate about what we do. And like recently, even I started my own channel where I talk about how can you go about entrepreneurship and how young entrepreneurs can, you know, begin their businesses. So that's the very first thing. Like you have to love what you do. You have to see passion in what you do. Otherwise, it's not fun. Like, yeah.
It becomes a boring after a while if you're not passionate about what you do.
And it starts seeming like an effort. You want to make it seem seamless, right? It shouldn't be an effort. Like it shouldn't be an added effort.
Yes. And with Ilana Organics, you're promoting both healthy skin and a healthy planet. So I think that's
yeah. What's good for you has to be good for the planet. Otherwise, it's not good for you. Like that's the bottom line.
In the long run, it's not benefit. It's not does not go.
Yeah.
So not all of us know, but Nikita is very young. I think she's very young.
Yeah, I'm 23 years old.
This makes me curious. How long have you been in this field, and as in managing Ilana Organics, how do you handle your other time and your responsibilities?
Yeah. So it's indeed been a very like a very informative and a very like a journey where I've learned a lot. I wasn't like I didn't have everything in place the day I started it, you know. I even still today I have so many things that are out of my control, and often I hate things that are not under my control. Like I try to control everything that's happening around me, and I like it when everything around me is under my control. But yeah, so starting off, it wasn't this easy. I mean, I had to overcome a lot of my weaknesses in terms of my patience. I think I wasn't patient about the things that I should have been patient about, and then I made some mistakes in the beginning, which I later realized were because of my impatience, and then I rectified them. So I would say that it's been a journey to get here to a level where you can manage your other things and manage the business as well. One of the main reasons why I started my own content channel was people always used to ask me as to how do you manage this? Like, you know, it's there's a perception about entrepreneurs that, okay, you have to hustle for 24 hours. You cannot take out time for yourself. You cannot sleep on time, but that's not true. Like, as far as you manage your things properly, it's not like you can't get sleep or you can't have good skin or you can't take out time for fitness. It's all about priorities in the end. So yeah, I mean, in the beginning, more than time, I used to struggle with a lot of stress, anxiety. So initially, I mean, I struggled to get to a phase where I could have my peace of mind along with what I was doing. So while I was very happy with what I was doing, like I said, because a lot of things weren't under my control in the beginning, because, you know, I was learning a lot of new things and everything. So I used to be very stressed and very not happy with how things were going initially, which then made me realize that if I'm not getting peace of mind out of what I'm doing, maybe it's not worth it. So I then sort of you know, took that extra effort to have both in the same place. So while I was happy with what I was doing, it was also essential for me to, because the days I don't work out, I feel like, hey, why didn't I work out today? So, you know, those little things count. Like I started sort of giving myself importance, not just the company. Like I started thinking about myself, what my day looks like, what am I doing for my own personal pleasure in the day. Just started to, you know, like be happy in what my day-to-day schedule looked like, and then that reflected upon my entrepreneurial journey as well. So I'm sorry if I just spoke about a lot of things. Did I answer your question?
Really important what you mentioned, how to cope up with the stress and anxiety which comes with such a big responsibility. I think that's the most important part.
Yeah.
Okay. So my next question for you is, how do you integrate sustainability in general in your products and the methods you use to manufacture them?
Okay, so first and foremost, very importantly, it's the ingredients and how far they travel across the globe to be in our skincare. The second part is also about, again, when talking about carbon footprint, what ingredients are we choosing? Like we said before, it's very important. It has to, like, a product has to be good for you and has to be good for the planet. If it's not good for the planet, it's probably not good for you. So it's about taking those little decisions. It's about taking those balanced calls as to what ingredient goes in the bottle. If it's traveling across the country just to be in your bottle, thus increasing your carbon footprint by multiple X's, it's not worth having that ingredient, how much ever naturally derived or organically certified it might be. So I mean, that might be a stark opinion. Some people might not agree with me, but I think it's about taking those little calculated decisions. Now, for example, our beetroot tint has a beetroot powder that comes overseas just to be in our bottle, but it was about using, like, the local beetroot powder that we used in the formulation turned the beet tint rancid. So it was toxicity or the quality of the product against getting an ingredient from overseas. So it's these constant debates that we always go through, but we make sure that we sort of think about sustainability from not just like a monetary expense kind of a view, because we always have a perception that, okay, being sustainability is going to reflect on your costs. Being organic is going to make the product expensive, or being sustainable is, I mean, yes, definitely it adds that cost, because there is somebody sitting behind the product who's giving that extra thought as to what is going inside your bottle, or is being careful enough just to make sure what is happening. So yeah, it will definitely be more expensive than your regular drugstore bought products, but I think these preconceived notions also have to change somewhere, in terms of, okay, sustainability is just very expensive, or being sustainable is a trend, or it often comes with expenses. So like I said, like, coming back to your question, I think the way we be sustainable in our products is by using local ingredients, using local manufacturers, so that we don't have our products traveling all across the country probably just to come to us. So trying to be as local as possible in terms of our our production, our manufacturing, our ingredients, where our packaging comes from, all of that. So just, I think, being sustainable in those terms. And another complete tangent where we look at sustainability is by being multi-purpose. So our constant agenda behind introducing new products into the market are introducing as many multi-purpose products as possible. Now, what that does is, because sustainability to me is having to buy less and having to throw out less. The moment you reduce consumerism and you reduce your trend to go out and buy more things in order to substitute your multiple needs, I think it's being less wasteful, and thus it also reduces your carbon footprint. So I think, as a responsible ethical brand, that's also somewhere we look at as an like an area where we can implement sustainability, is by introducing more multi-purpose products. So we always look at say, maybe like the recent launch that we had was the Lush Eyes. So it is an eye cream and an eye mask. So, once it's an eye cream, it can also be used as a overnight sleeping eye mask. Then we have the reviving moisturizer. It can be used as a cream. It can be used as a mask as well. So, like, these things are also where I think for us sustainability matters, and it comes into the picture.
Okay, that's interesting. I think the point where you mentioned that if you use less, you throw out less, and at the end of the day, you reduce the carbon footprint you're creating as an individual. Why do you think there's a need for this particular thing in the world right now? How does it?
Sorry, I didn't understand your question.
By reducing the carbon footprint, as in, if you use less, you throw out less. Why do you think there is a need in today's world for an individual to understand this process, as in,
right. So, like we know, we as human beings are producing trash more than ever, right? Like our landfills are filling up. We say that something's recyclable, but who's making sure that it's getting recycled? Even the glass we use for that matter, like we give our products in these tiny bottles, which are from a certain angle, they are not usable. Like they can't be upcycled or they can't be reused. So these glass, now we say glass is recyclable, but for a glass to be recycled and to be molded into a different glass, it has to be heated at such high temperatures, which again leads to energy consumption, which again leads to higher carbon footprints, right? So it's, you can't just think as a when you talk about like sustainability is a mouthful, right? So it's not just about one thing and one thing by itself. Like it's not, it's a very, very complex term. It has so many folds. So you have to look at the life cycle of a product that you're introducing in the market. And the reason why that's essential today is because just imagine, like now with the times that we are living in because of COVID, we are even more using more plastic, more throwaway containers, more throwaway packaging. Like we're taking away food from restaurants. All of that comes in plastic packaging. So now more than ever, we are using plastic in our lives. Like in a day, if one person just thinks of how much like literally in a household of just 2 people or 3 people, you have to, like a medium-sized dustbin that fills up, or maybe it fills up twice in a day, you know. That's how much we trash out, that's how much we buy, and that's how much we trash out. So I think yeah, like looking at now we are actually shifting to aluminum tubes. So aluminum tubes are highly compressible and they are more recyclable than glass as well. So even something like a PP plastic is like the garbage, because basically just pick it up and then they put it to the recycle bins, because they get a good value for every piece of plastic that they're picking up from the landfills. But with glass, that's not the thing, because like I said, for glass to be recycled, it needs to be heated at a very higher temperature. So more often than not, the glass just ends up landing into the landfill, where it either hurts somebody while they're walking on it, or it ends up getting burnt, which again leads to greenhouse gases and CO2, which increases your carbon footprint. So I think yeah, like recycling is something, it's again like it's a mouthful, it's a huge topic to talk about. But more than recycling, I think upcycling is what we should look at in terms of, so even when as a brand we are looking at the packaging, if we have bigger jars, people are more likely to reuse those jars as pickle containers or spice containers in their kitchen or something like that. So I think, yeah, like thinking about the entire life cycle of your product is important, and it's necessary because we are creating trash more than ever. Like how much ever you stop yourself, and because how much will you store? Even space is an issue, right? How much things would you store thinking, hey, I'll reuse this one day? Doesn't happen. It's not practical.
Yeah. The fact that you mentioned that, the life cycle of, the things you're using, it just goes on and on and on if you're not careful about what you're using.
Yeah, exactly. You have to look at the whole life cycle of the product that you're introducing in the market.
Yes. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. So coming from a field of sustainable businesses and startups now more than ever, because every person has that freedom to, start their own company. So how do you cope up with the fierce competition in the market right now? And what do you think that what makes Ilana Organics different from all these brands? How do you cope up?
Right. So I think, like I've always said in even my previous interviews, is that I don't look at competition as competition. I always look at it as something that it's like a, because like I said before, I never set out in the market thinking, hey, let's sell some skincare. It was always about the bigger conversation. So I'm always going to promote other brands who are pushing sustainability, because just 1 month inside in the process of starting this brand, I had realized that one brand alone cannot do it all. Like we all are part of these, like we're a part of this process, and more the merrier, like more people coming in and like taking up sustainability as their vision, it's just gonna help us more to get there sooner, because that's the calling, right? That is what even as a person affects me the most. Like, what are we doing to this planet? Like, how are we going to survive, or how our next generations are going to survive? So yeah, like, that being said, I don't look at competition as competition really. Yeah, I mean, I do take inspiration from other peer brands that are there. I do look at them. I do think that, hey, this is something good that they're doing. That's something good that they're doing. But what sets us apart, and the reason why I don't look at competition as competition, because I feel like we have a very separate vision, and there are very few people in the industry who sort of are on the same page as we are, or I am rather. So what makes Ilana different is the whole transparency aspect of it. You know, that the whole bigger conversation that we're asking people to start, the kind of awareness that we are generating, the kind of transparency that we're maintaining. Like, which brand, like, there's literally nobody who goes out and speaks with people about these things, that, okay, hey, we are sort of struggling with putting whether to put this ingredient or that ingredient in your bottle. What do you think about it? You know, so I mean, it's about that evolved conversation. It's about not driving profits out of your customers, but thinking of them as stakeholders, you know, in your venture. It's all of these things that sort of, I feel, set us apart. And more than ever, it's the transparency. I mean, it's been number of times where the brand literally portrays to be all natural and all like chemical free, or all plant derived, I would say. And when you look at their labels, it's like there are so many of toxic labels. You know, I don't mind putting non-toxic lab derived alternatives for plant derived alternatives as well, but there are so many toxic hazardous chemicals that, like, shouldn't go inside a skincare bottle. So I think transparency is what sets us apart, all the time. Yeah, like, that's one of the major things that sets us apart.
I agree. I think the point where you mentioned that transparency is the most important factor which exists between a company and a customer. I think that makes a huge difference, and it definitely sets a brand. Yeah, that's true. So currently, how many people are working with Ilana as a team? You know, considering the situation right now with COVID-19 and lockdowns and everything, how is the team working?
Yeah, so we are a team of 10 people. Right now, not everybody is working from office, including me and the co-founder. We're a team of 10 people, and 4 of us are working from office right now. Rest, all of them are working from home currently. And apart from this, we also have people outside of our day-to-day activities, where we freelance with them, they freelance for us, and there are marketing agencies that we work with. But this is the team of people that we have right now. COVID has only changed the dynamic in terms of who's working from office and who's working from home. We were actually supposed to shift into a new space before we went into the lockdown, so that was put on hold, because now it sort of like, there are not enough people to shift into a bigger space right away, so we put that on hold. So I think that's about it, but it hasn't affected the strength or anything in any way.
Okay. Yeah. I think that's great, because at the end of the day, it's always the team effort that matters. You know, what goes into creating a product. It's always the team effort behind it.
Yeah.
Okay. So moving on, my last question for today is, before the rapid fire round, of course. So my last question: how do you wish to take this brand forward in the field of sustainability and circular economy in general? Any special plans for the future?
So I think it's about having Ilana as a household name, a name that rings a bell in everybody's ears. I think that's the part of the journey. That's where we strive to be. The reason being is being accessible, as well as being organic and being sustainable and being natural, is a very, very rare combination. Like, when I started out with Ilana, the reason why I started with Ilana, because there were brands around me who were organic and who were natural, but either they were not accessible or they were not affordable to me, and that's why I created Ilana Organics. So I think going forward, we continue to do what we are continuing to do right now. We plan to take a few recycling projects up in the coming business year, because we feel that even though we put out a product in the market, which like a material in the market that is recyclable, that doesn't mean it's getting recycled. You know, like unless and until somebody takes that extra, goes that extra mile or takes that extra effort to recycle something, it's not going to get recycled. So that is what I personally believe in when it comes to the whole recycling process, and that's why I think we'll be taking up a few recycling projects locally in order to put in our effort in terms of recycling waste. So that is something that's going ahead we are looking at, but nothing in particular. Like we plan to just keep on doing whatever is happening, whatever's up right now. And like I said, yeah, I hope to become like a household name in India in the coming few years.
Yes. Yeah, we are definitely looking forward to seeing Ilana Organics grow, and even you as a person grow and reach greater heights. And hopefully in the future be a voice to promote sustainable
Yeah.
life, way of living.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so now it's time for the fun part of the session, the rapid fire round. The rules are simple. I will ask you 8 quick questions. You answer them
Are
in.
these related to what all we discussed, or is it something different?
Sorry?
No, I said, are the questions related to what we spoke of, or is it like about me or about, okay, a mix?
It's
Oh.
it's a mix of. Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Should we go for?
Yeah, let's go for it.
First question is describe Ilana in 3 words.
Transparent, ethical, and wholesome.
Okay. 2 things you're passionate about.
Beauty and entrepreneurship.
Okay. Define sustainability in 1 sentence.
Good for you, good for the planet.
Okay. I think that's great. 1 sustainable brand you'd like to collaborate with in the future.
I can't think of any. Collaborate in the future. I don't know. Can't think of any. I don't know. I've heard a lot about Jodi Life. I don't know if they are concentrating on sustainability. Yeah.
Okay, then maybe let's change this question a bit. 1 brand that really inspires you, which is already in this organic skincare sector.
I think there's this brand called Tata Harper, which inspires me a lot in terms of everything, in terms of their products. I've never used their products personally, but I intend to soon. Yeah.
Okay. Face mask or a face pack? What is your go-to?
A face mask. But what's the difference? Face mask and a face pack are the same thing.
No, as in
face mask and a face scrub.
Something you wash off. As in, what do you?
No, then a peel-off mask. Peel-off masks are very convenient. But no, actually no. Because peel-off masks have a lot of petroleum in them. So I think I'll just go with the face mask.
Yeah. Okay. That was just a quick question. Genuinely curious, what sets it apart. I got my answer. So, one advantage of using organic products.
Sorry, one advantage. Okay. One advantage of using organic products. I think you don't feel guilty while using them.
Okay.
Like you're not hustling. So yeah.
Okay. So one of your everyday eco-friendly habits.
Sorry, one of my habits. Okay. One of my everyday eco-friendly habits. I walk to my office. I don't use a car. Great. Also because it's very close to my house. But yeah, like I walk to my office.
Still, it does make a difference.
Yeah. Okay. And even in the future shift, I think I'll cycle or something. But I won't use a car. Yeah.
Is best recommended product from Ilana Organics?
I personally love the Soft Blur Concealer and the Beat Tint. So that's something I by default use every day. So I think, but if I have to choose one, I'll choose the concealer, the soft glow concealer. That's my
Okay.
personal.
Interesting. Okay. I would definitely like to try it soon.
You should. I will send you some.
Okay. So I think we are heading towards the end of this live session. Before ending it though, I would like to ask you one thing. That
Yeah.
for a person looking to switch to organic routines and to sustainable products, what advice would you like to give him or her? What is the first step that one has to do?
I think they could start very basic in their own kitchens. They could start with like basic DIY recipes, basic DIY ingredients, and I think the biggest part about choosing organic skincare or starting with an organic skincare routine is about knowing your ingredients right, knowing what works on your skin, knowing what ingredient does what. So try and sort of gain a little bit knowledge about ingredients as to what they do, how are they good for your skin, which one's bad for your skin, and that's where you could start.
Okay.
Yeah.
Super. That was definitely insightful. I think
Yeah.
everyone can look forward to
Thank
following it. Yeah. Okay.
Nice.
So, do you want to say anything, or should we?
No, nothing. It was great talking to you. Like I had a very, very lovely discussion. It was a little different. Like I liked how the whole topic, the questions were based on sustainability. I like having conversations about sustainability. And it's important that more people are responsible about their ventures, come out and talk more about sustainability. And I think, like I said, more than talking, it's about executing, it's about doing. So I feel more and more people should come up and do whatever they can, because no one person's efforts are going to be enough. Like I said, I realized it very early on in this venture of mine that it's going to be a while till Ilana Organics grows and we are able to make a change. But that didn't I didn't let that deter my confidence or make me feel like, okay, I should stop doing whatever I'm doing. It's important that all of us, like how we say, charity begins at home and every drop counts. It's very important for all of us to put in that little minimal effort, whatever it might be. Everything counts. So even at an individual level, all of us should try to be as kind to the nature as possible, as minimal as possible, as less wasteful as possible. Even when you're going to just like a mall, even if you are going out shopping and you plan to shop for 10 items and you just shop for 8, even that's enough. Like, even you should just pat yourself on the back for it. But changing those habits, being minimalistic, takes some effort. So be kind and be patient. But I mean, for all of those who are trying, we'll definitely get there. Yeah.
Okay. That's great.
Yes.
And our founder says that thank you so much, Nikita. We love how you spoke. Just a minute.
We love how you spoke in depth. It's not a one-man show. Be the change. Be the change by joining hands.
Yeah. So that's our founder. That's Sustain and Save's founder.
That's nice. Hi.
Okay. So thank you so much, Nikita, for being a part of this session.
No problem.
And it was a great opportunity to collaborate with Ilana Organics, and we look forward to hosting many other stuff with you.
Yeah, I would love to
And
chat. Yes, thank
lots
you.
of love to Corinne for tuning in.
You too.
And have a great day and stay safe, stay healthy.
You too. Stay safe. Bye-bye.
Yes. Bye-bye.